He's done it. The Michigan goal in the first period. For the Williams. Run. Pelfy scores. Pelfy is it.
And welcome back to the podcast. As always, it's me, Derik, aka Mini Dog, here on Bull Spittin' with Derek Clark. And welcome back to the podcast. This one should be an interesting one. We got some unique news coming out of every single part of the sports world. Just want to start off where I posted my only short of the weekend with the Lake Tahoe Night Mustard jerseys. I know I talked a little bit about them last week. And I have that short. Go check it out if you haven't to look at the jerseys. And the TikTok as well. Shout out my TikTok. But anyway, Lake Tahoe, they have a new hockey team. It's the ECHL affiliate of the Vegas Golden Knights. It's their inaugural season coming up in the 24-25 ECHL season. And they will be the 29th franchise of the ECHL. Now, the Tahoe Night Monsters, not Lake Tahoe. I keep saying Lake Tahoe, but it's Tahoe Night Monsters, but they play in Lake Tahoe. The Tahoe Night Monsters unveiled their jerseys. They have a white with their normal main logo. They have a gold with their secondary logo and a blackout jersey with their third logo. And they are pristine, crisp, and gorgeous in every single aspect of every single word. That means them things are beautiful. So, shout out Lake Tahoe, shout out the Tahoe Night Monsters, and I'll probably be rooting for them a bit because of those jerseys this upcoming ECHL season. Right now, F1 is running. They're about 18 laps into their 44-lap race in Spa in Belgium. Current leader, by the way, is Charles Leclerc, who got a pole position because he qualified second, and Max Verstappen got a 10-place grid penalty, making him start in 11th, giving Alex Albon a start in 10th, which he currently still is in 10th, and giving Charles Leclerc first place. This is the exact same track, the exact same situation that happened last year with Max and Charles Leclerc, when Max got another different type of grid place penalty, giving Charles Leclerc, who finished second last year in qualifying in Belgium at Spa, to get first place. So back-to-back years where Max gets a grid place penalty, qualifies first, and Leclerc gets to start pole. Interesting situation. Last year's winner, though, was Sergio Perez. He currently is not in the lead. By the way, Perez is further down the top 10. He's not even in the top 3. The top 3 are currently Leclerc, Norris, and Hamilton. So, that's F1 right now. NASCAR is currently on a break. ARCA got to run a race this week, but that is their last race. Pretty much they won't be racing, I don't think, next week. ARCA, I could be wrong. But there is no NASCAR. It's the Olympics, and boy, do we get to talk about it. The 4x4 meter freaking relay by the swim team. The boys, the men's relay team gets gold in the 4 relay, which is cool. 4 swimmers, 4 laps. Great to see. USA on top in gold. Katie Ledecky in swimming got a bronze. We had a cyclist get bronze in cycling, in women's cycling. Silver also went, I believe, to, what sport was that? I believe that was another swimmer. Yes, another swimmer. It was a female swimmer. There was a gymnast that also got silver. USA has a roughly 20-some odd medals. They only have 1 gold because of the swim team. They have a lot of silver and bronze. They have the most medals so far in the Olympics. I believe 20. I don't know. 18? I'm trying to look it up, but I can't find the exact number. Somewhere around the mid-teens to like 20. So 16 to 20, we'll say. That's how many medals they have. Recording this, by the way, on July 28th. So on a Sunday morning in the middle of nowhere. So just letting you all breathe that in for a minute to kind of realize that Derik is, if you're listening this 2-3 days ahead, there's more medals added. So my numbers will be wrong if you're listening to this way in the future. Watched fencing. I watched South Korea earn a gold in fencing, men's singles fencing. That is one of the best sports that I watch. I'm waiting for handball to drop. I did watch the 4x4 relay. I watched it live. Proud American moment. Great swimming all around by the boys. Saw Katie Ledecky get bronze live. Great swimming, Katie Ledecky. She is, I believe, 4 or 5 medals away from being the most decorated swimmer in USA Olympics history for the Team USA. So, I mean, Katie Ledecky is a freaking legend on the swimming side for the ladies. Saw the men's soccer team yesterday beat New Zealand 4-1. They are now 1-1 in pool play. And their last pool game, I believe, is today, somewhere around today. I believe later today at like 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. If they win that game, the goal differential should help. They should get second in their group and should qualify for the quarterfinals and play to try to win a medal in the Olympics. Yeah, they beat the heck out of New Zealand 4-1. I don't watch soccer. If it's only the Olympics and the World Cup, that's the only time I watch soccer. Let me tell you something. We kicked New Zealand's butt. Good to see. All New Zealand. New Zealand's cool though, so I don't want to like roast New Zealand. So, shout out New Zealand. I mean, I don't have hate for you. You're pretty dope country, just like your country that neighbors you in Australia. Shout out Australia. Pretty dope people over there, but I mean, USA kicked your butt in soccer, so you know. Anyway, field hockey I watched for like 20 seconds. Look, I'm a broadcaster when it comes to ice hockey. I love ice hockey. It's my favorite sport in the world. That's why I call games. But field hockey is a little weird for me. I'll watch it for like I said, 20 seconds and start going, what the heck is this? So, watched a little bit of skateboarding this morning. I don't know if the USA girl qualified. Her name's Megan. I believe she's like 16. It's on the women's skateboarding side. She was currently 4th when I started watching, and then I turned it to the F1 race, trying to qualify into the last top 8 to qualify to skate for a medal. The men's, I believe, is going to come later today. They were supposed to do it yesterday, but rain in Paris. And speaking of rain in Paris, the triathlon athletes are something to talk about. There is a huge deal coming out of this freaking river that runs through Paris. The starts with a P. It's Pierre something river. I believe it's I can't pronounce it. I'm sorry. But the river that runs through Paris, that is the river the triathlons will swim in their triathlon. For the people that don't know what a triathlon is, you run, then you swim, then you ride a bike. So you run for, I believe, I believe you run for 3 miles, swim for another 3 or 2 maybe, and then you ride a bike for another 2 or 3. I think it's a total of 10 miles, so I don't know how they differential it, but you get the gist. You run, then you swim, then you ride a bike. I believe that's the order. I could be wrong, but the triathlon athletes will swim in the river, and so will some kayaking events as well go on in the river. And the triathlon athletes were talking about it early this morning. Our time here in the States, Paris, it's like 10 o'clock in the morning there, but for us it was like 3 o'clock. But anyway, they're talking about it early this morning here in the States. And they're talking about the condition of the river. For the people that don't know, the river that runs through Paris, it is contaminated with feces and all that fun stuff that comes from human waste. And the Paris government and the French government in general allegedly spent, I believe, $2 billion to clean said river. The locals didn't like that. By the way, the locals from Paris hate the Olympics. The French are known for revolutions. They will revolt over anything. And I kind of don't disagree with them revolting over this Olympics because I literally saw a statistic that said Paris as a city will lose anywhere, or was it Paris? Yeah, I believe it was Paris. It could have been France as a country, but anyway, I believe it's Paris. Will lose anywhere from $3 to $5 billion from the Olympics. They'll lose money. You don't gain money from hosting the Olympics. You lose a crap ton of money, but it's the tourism that helps when it comes to the Olympic Games. Now, I will say, these triathlon athletes, I feel bad for them because they're scared they're going to swim through this and get infections, and I don't know what's going to happen. But then you got to think of the kayakers. Oh, dude, and there's going to be so many events in that water. It is crazy. I watched, speaking of that water, there's the bridge that goes over it. And the cyclists were going over it. The girl who won bronze for us for Team USA, she actually wrecked her bike and went into the fans. It's a whole thing. It didn't make sense to me yesterday. There's a weird thing going on in Paris. It didn't make any sense to me at all. What happened in Paris is very interesting. The skating events were postponed yesterday and moved to today. I just stated I watched the women's skateboarding trying to qualify into being the final top 8, the top 8 skate, and try to compete for the gold, silver, and bronze medals. The men and the women are doing that today. They were supposed to do it yesterday, but because of the heavy rain, and when I say heavy rain, it was heavy freaking rain in Paris, they could not skate. So their event was, what I just said, postponed and moved to today. Cycling. No, not at all. Men and women's trials cycling, okay? Trials, not the actual cycle racing where you're like racing to get to the first across the line. It's like the typical kind of like Tour de France movement where you're trying to get the fastest time. Tour de France technically doesn't do that, but you get extra points in the Tour de France if you do that. It's kind of weird. But this is based on your fastest time. So these athletes on these cycles are literally riding this bike at the fastest they can, probably going, I could imagine, 30 to 35 mile an hour. I don't know kilometers. I know mile an hour. And mile an hour, probably 30 to 35. I'm just saying they're flying. And what amazes me is they allow them to do this. They don't have special tires where they can run through the rain, by the way. These are just normal-ass bikes. These ladies are crashing. These dudes are crashing. There was like I said, the girl that won the bronze for us in the USA, she crashed, got on her bike, and somehow finished third. She crashed into the fans. There was, in the men's one, there was a dude who also did that. Heck, there was one on the men's where the guy just slid for like a solid 10 feet. Slid after falling off his bike. So you're telling me, as the Olympic Committee, you're looking at the skate park and go, oh, these guys can't skateboard. But then you look at the cycling track, which is the streets of Paris. You're going over a bridge. You're going through these tight turns of the Paris streets. You go, yeah, they'll be all right. Dude, there was puddles. Massive puddles. I mean, instead of running a straight line, they got to go around the puddles. I was like, oh, my God. So I watched it for what's going to happen here because I want to know if somebody's going to get hurt. I mean, now I want to know if this is going to be some crazy stuff going on in the Olympic Games. And it kind of looked like there was. I'm just saying. Out of the cycling craziness into the basketball court world. Team USA takes on Serbia today, 11:15 Eastern, 11:15 Eastern, 8:15 Pacific time. 11:15 Eastern is my time. 8:15 Pacific is, West Coast, and then Central Time would be 10:15, and then your Mountain Time would be 9:15 for the people in the U.S. that want to know. So, East Coast Time, 11:15 a.m. in the morning. USA will take on Serbia in men's basketball to start the men's portion of the basketball tournament in pool play. Go USA, baby. We got LeBron James. I can't do it, but LeBron James and Steph Curry and, Joel Embiid, True Holiday. Come on, dude. We got freaking roster and a half. So, shout out to the boys on Team USA. And let's party on here. Let's party on. Tennis-wise, saw some tennis. I didn't see the final. I know Spain, their men's double team is like the two best dudes on the men's side when it comes to like pro tennis, and they kick some butt. Beach volleyball. Love me some beach volleyball. The men lost to Cuba, but the women swept Canada 2-0. So, shout out the women's beach volleyball duo. It's a really tall lady and a really short lady, and they're fire. So, they're good at the game that they play. I don't know what else to say. The women's soccer, I think, actually starts today, too. There's a crap. Okay, listen. There's so many events. Like, I can't even keep up. I'm trying to find handball. USA doesn't even compete in handball. That's just one of my favorite sports to watch in the Olympics because it's handball and it's freaking awesome. Then you look at, I just watched fencing, okay? Fencing is dope. It was just the saber division. There's 3 divisions of freaking fencing. There's saber, which I watched the gold medal match yesterday, South Korea. That's the one with the long handle. Okay, it's like it has a cover for your hands, not long handle, but the handle has a cover for your hands. Looks like an actual 19 or 1500 saber that like a pirate would use or like a royal person. And then you have there's the one where it's just the top round part on the handle, and then there's one where there's no handle like hand guard thing. It's just like the handle. I don't know what the names of all of them are. I just know that one was saber because they said it was the saber division. So there's men's and women's saber, there's men's and women's top thing, and then there's men's and women's normal handle. There's 3 divisions in freaking fencing. There's like 8 events in freaking swimming. Oh my god, swimming. Oh my god, track and field hasn't started. I'm gonna watch that as much as I can. Swimming has like no joke 30 events. Track and field is the same way. Cycling's like 4. Skateboard has freestyle, best trick, and longest grind. I think there's 3 of them. There's BMX, which is best trick. Oh, quarter pipe. That's what it is. So there's best trick, freestyle, and quarter pipe. That is the 3 events for both skateboarding and BMX. So I don't know. There's breakdancing. I didn't even know breakdancing qualified as a sport. I'm just saying. But there's breakdancing. At this point, is there chess in the Olympics? Because if there is chess in the beloved Olympics, we need to bring over some dudes from the U.S. because we got some smart dudes that play chess. I'm just saying. It'd be a heck of an event. Next year, in 2028, when the Olympics hit Los Angeles, California, there will be flag football. And there will be baseball will come back. There's no baseball this year. There's no baseball. It's only when the country can provide the baseball fields. France can't because France doesn't play the sport. Baseball will be back in 2028 in LA. There will be flag football. There will also be lacrosse in 2028 in LA. And because we're in the States, we can actually watch the Olympics at a freaking reasonable time instead of like 8 a.m., 6 a.m. Heck, some events here in the U.S. start at 3 a.m. in the morning. And it's like, dude, what? And it's always the good ones, too. There's like, bro, dude, 3 a.m. this morning, it was the good crap. I mean, water polo was on. Water polo is insane. I don't know if you people watch water polo when it comes to Summer Olympics. Water polo is great. I watched the women's water polo team beat the crap out of Greece like 16-2 yesterday. Live, they beat the crap out of Greece in water polo. I didn't know our water polo team was stacked, but apparently they are. Flavor Flav, he's a rapper. His daughter's on there. He's the unofficial mascot of the USA women's water polo team. Never even knew that. Great guy, I guess. I'm assuming. I mean, he is the unofficial mascot. I'm just saying. But it's insane to say that we have a stacked water polo team, and I didn't even know that. Okay? I didn't even know that. There's some amazing sports in the Olympics. That's all I'm trying to say, folks. And you should sit down and you should watch the Summer Olympic Games. I'm just saying. There is a girl who is local from my area who is actually participating in the rowing. She is about 20, 30 minutes away from my town. She's like 20, 30 minutes. She's a couple towns over. She's from a couple towns over. She's actually competing in the rowing. So I don't want to give out where I live, so I'll just shout out her. And I don't know her, but people that know me will know who I'm talking about, I think. I hope they do. I don't remember which rowing it is. I think it's doubles and team. Could be wrong, but she is participating in the rowing events. So I'll try to keep an eye out for that on the women's side of rowing. I also read that there was supposed to be more swimming sports in that river in Paris, but they're all in the pool, so I don't know what other swimming events there would be. There's kayaking, and there's the triathlon, unless there is I don't know, the surfing is in, not even in Paris, it's in the ocean, in France. They're or the sea, I should say. I think that's is it the Marine? I don't remember what sea that is that's next to France. Is that the Marine? I don't remember what sea is next to it. I don't think it's the ocean. I think it's a sea. I think it's is it the Mediterranean Sea? I don't remember what sea that is next to France, but that's where the surfing is. So they're living private yacht life, apparently, on cruise ships and have these luxury rooms, while every other athlete on every other country is sleeping on cardboard-made mattresses or cardboard-made bed frames with styrofoam mattresses. And literally, it came out today that LeBron walked into the Team USA basketball. Okay, this is kind of funny. I'm sorry, I gotta kind of not laugh. LeBron James, on the first day they came to Paris, walked into the rooms for the athletes. It is literally a cardboard-made frame with a foam mattress. Their closets are these, like, rolling rack, like, rolling hanging thing. There's no air conditioning. Countries sent air conditioners with their athletes because France has this, like, environmental safe air conditioning, but it don't even freaking keep a room cool because it's not how that works. So LeBron walks into the basketball team's rooms and says, nope, screw this. He currently bought a room for every single person on the team, plus the equipment people, plus the coaches, plus everybody. LeBron did it with his own money and sent him over to suites in the most fanciest hotel in Paris. And if that doesn't tell you that, like, not only does that not tell you LeBron cares about his own teammates on Team USA, but it also tells you, like, dude, we understand if you want to be environmentally safe, and I'm not saying that's not a bad thing, because clearly we, as a whole world, should be. But if that does not tell you that athletes cannot sleep in those conditions because they physically have to stay fit, and you're not providing what they need, you have a serious problem. And yeah, so I shout out LeBron. He did that for the whole basketball team, which is crazy. But shout out to LeBron for doing that. And I guess basically exposing the Paris committee for the Olympics, I guess. I don't know. But shout out to LeBron James. This is the last time I'll do that. I also saw something about motorsports should be in the Olympics. What? As someone who builds race cars, watches racing, literally, does this fun stuff with stuff. Look, I'm a good guy when it comes to motorsports. I'm literally watching F1 right now. I love IndyCar. I love NASCAR. I love dirt racing. I love the High Limit Racing Series. I love the World of Outlaws. I love the Lucas Oil late models. I love all of that racing world. But motorsports should not be in the Olympics for the aspect of there's no reason to have them in the Olympics if so many people from other countries already participate in your high-end racing world. And that could be said for every sport. But what I'm trying to say is when it comes to a car, when it comes to a motorcycle, when it comes to those types of vehicles, when it comes to racing, it's not really the person driving, but rather the car, because it's all about the setup. Cycling is a little different because you don't have to set up a bike. Technically, you barely have to really have a setup for a bike. You kind of just have to know your suspensions. On a race car, it's the tire pressure, the suspension, the freaking camber, the freaking, oh my god. Oh, dude, there's so much. There's actually so much. There's so many variables. There's probably 50 variables that depend a car. And if one of those 50 variables does not match up with the people that you're competing with, you're going to be in the back of the pack. Not because you, the driver, but because of the car that you are driving, because you did not set that car up correctly. That's why some weekends in NASCAR, Todd Gilliland's in the top 5, and then one week Todd Gilliland's in 30th. And the same way with Alex Bowman, who just won at Chicago 2 weeks before he won in Chicago at the street race. He was like 25th. Okay, so like it's the car. I'm not saying it's just the car. It is the driver as well. You need someone who can adapt and learn on the fly and know how to drive that car if there is something wrong when it comes to the setup. But all in all, technically it is the car, and I'm not saying it to be offensive to people who race because, as I just said, literally build race cars. But there's more variables when it comes to the setup of a car that you race than it comes to the driver itself. The driver could screw up and turn the steering wheel a little different and screw up the car. It's 100% understandable. I mean, it happens. You could drive in too hard on a corner. You could drive too loose on a corner. You could go for a pass and not know you're clear, and when you go to pass them completely and complete the pass, you curve onto them and hit a wall. But at the end of the day, it's set up and the driver, not just the driver. And because of that, I don't deem that as an Olympic sport because all the sports you see in the Olympics, even when it's a team event, it's highly variable on the person. It's only the person that makes the variables. The variables are what the human does during the game. Even if that's a singles match, even if that's a doubles match, even if it's a team event like water polo or basketball. Skateboarding, it's a singles event, but the variable is the person on the board. Cycling is both a singles and teams event, but it's the person that's on the bike. That's the main variable. What they do with that bike, how they ride that bike, how they ride that skateboard is what determines. So to me, because a car has more variables and the car itself is like 50% of, that's way too low. About like 85% of the reason why you're in the top 5. That's why I don't think motorsports should come to the Olympics. I'm just saying. Okay, I think I've yapped enough about the Olympics. Guys. Hockey world, there isn't much to talk about. The Ducks just painted their new logo on all the rinks except the main rink because they're getting to that eventually. Which is cool to see. A lot of there's a summer event where a lot of NHL players play. I forget where it is, somewhere in Minnesota. And they play on certain teams, and they'll play for about 2 weeks. And there's a lot of NHL players playing in that. It's a little summer event that they do for kids. I forget the name of it, and I know it's in Minnesota somewhere. But that happened this weekend and ended. That ended yesterday. Started last weekend. So cool to see that. The MLB trade deadline was the other day. Not a lot of crazy trades. The NFL is actually ramping the freak up, which is crazy. Jake Bates, bro. Oh my God. You know what? We got to end the podcast like this. Shout out Jake Bates, dude. The dude kicked for the UFL's Michigan Panthers. Nailing, absolutely crushing 63-yard field goals like it's freaking nothing. Goes out there today or yesterday, first day of training camp for the Detroit Lions. He went 6 for 6 with multiple field goals from 50-plus yards right down the middle. Shout out Jake Bates. I've been watching him since he started playing with the Michigan Panthers of the UFL. Dude's a freaking legend. He knows how to kick a ball, and I think the Texans play the Detroit Lions. I'm pretty sure we do, and when we do, he's going to be the scariest guy on the field. I'm just saying, because he can kick a field goal, folks. And if you're playing the Detroit Lions this year, if your team is, I'm warning you, watch out for that kicker and Jake Bates. He's a guy who could kick a freaking football. Okay, guys, that I think will do it because I think this week and next week and probably the week after's podcast, these next 3 podcasts, is going to be Olympic focused because that's really the only sport going on. Sports. So that will do it for me here. Hope you guys have a great day. I hope you've had a great summer so far. We're kind of getting that weird moment where the Olympics are crushing in the sports world. So until then, hope you guys have a great day. And as always, it's your boy Mini Doc signing off. Peace.